Rocksteady's Batman Arkham series has evolved drastically over its 3 iterations, from the early days as a caped crusader, penetrating the dark depths of Arkham Asylum, to the open-world city jail of Arkham City. The story and world is brought full circle in Batman Arkham Knight. Only slightly hindered by a few misfires, Rocksteady's 3rd installment in the critically and commercially successful Arkham series crafts an excellent Batman story in a colorfully dark Gotham City that is supported by a nearly perfect combat system. In Arkham Knight, you play as, surprise surprise, Batman. It is Halloween, and Scarecrow, possibly driven crazy and affected by an excessive Titan in the previous games, is spearheading a collaboration with other famous villains of the Bat in order to douse and control the world in a highly concentrated dose of a newer and stronger fear gas. Scarecrow has hired the Arkham Knight, a villain with an obvious grudge against the Dark Knight, to help him with his plan.
We know how you think! Do you know what I'm thinking right now?
The bare-bones plot in itself is very simple, yet Rocksteady manages to add layers upon layers of narrative in the form of twists and surprising relations. What starts out for Batman as a long Halloween in his quest to stop Scarecrow crescendos into a breaking point that ultimately left me a little less excited than I expected to feel.
Move! Take cover!
Let's get the biggest elephant out of the room from the start, as it has proven to be a very diversive subject amongst gamers worldwide. I was slightly taken back by the sloppy driving mechanics of the Batmobile. I don't love it, but I do enjoy it in small doses that I can control. The driving portions feel fast, but I didn't feel as in control as I should have. When I timed a seemingly perfect drift, the Batmobile would instead slow down, or run into obstacles that would prevent me from continuing my pursuit of some of Gotham's most wanted. I do enjoy battling Arkham Knight's on-man drones in his Batmobile, which doubles as a bat tank. While the tank doesn't fit theoretically as well into Batman's universe, I still had fun taking on Arkham Knight's numerous drones. The controls felt responsive as I blew up dozens of on-man tanks and evaded hundreds of incoming missiles. One of my favorite aspects of Arkham Knight is that it is a story that focuses on Batman's role as a vigilante in society and not a psychological examination as to why Bruce Wayne decides to play dress-up.
Any lead on Scarecrow?
We were tracking an unknown military vehicle speeding through Chinatown. It's the only lead we've
Films such as The Dark Knight focus on what makes Bruce Wayne and Batman different, and I felt the metaphor in trapping Batman with other criminals in Arkham City was too heavily handed. Arkham Knight boldly puts Batman first, which I prefer. By focusing largely on Batman, we are almost guaranteed that the scope won't be introspective, which could be damaging to the story's atmosphere. Without delving too deeply into spoilers, Scarecrow was a disappointing villain. I went into Arkham Knight as a longtime fan of the Batman comics, recognizing one of the problems of Scarecrow in the comics is that no one has properly taken advantage of his fear gas. What are his motives for humiliating the Dark Knight? Why hasn't he learned that such a task in itself is pretty impossible? Why does he need the Arkham Knight at all? By taking a back seat and hiring the Arkham Knight, anything that happened in the game felt more like the Arkham Knight's doing rather than Scarecrow's. It was hard to put a face on the crime when the criminal mastermind only showed his face on projectors scattered throughout the city. It's hard to be too disappointed with Scarecrow's presence, or lack thereof, as Batman Arkham Knight is a blast to play. Somehow, Rocksteady made the already smooth combat even easier to execute, as I was able to exert my will and land blow after blow, maliciously pressing the attack or counter buttons with near-perfect timing in the middle of dozens of enraged foes trying to take down the Bat. The power of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One also enables Rocksteady to populate the screen with more enemies than their last-gen incarnations. I loved fighting dozens of enemies with batarangs, brutal takedowns, and lightning-fast dodge capabilities. New additions such as environmental takedowns allow you to slam the nearest brute into an open electrical circuit, or bring down a low-hanging ceiling light on an unfortunate militia soldier. I always found myself using nearly every weapon at my disposal, planning my moves out like a game of chess. However, such intricate gameplay would be nearly rendered useless if Gotham City looked like any other crime-infested hellhole. Rocksteady has crafted a game that looks as well as it plays. The heavy shadows on the buildings accentuate the neon signs of Gotham's many dives and movie theaters. The wide streets make room for the Batmobile, as well as the dozens of villains ready to beat Batman to a pulp. The voice acting and sound effects really add to the environment as well.
What are you doing here?
Why did Scarecrow lock you up?
The art style and direction deserve particular attention. Rocksteady has clearly been influenced heavily by Batman the Animated Series, as well as Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight trilogy. Batman Arkham Knight is not just an amazing Batman experience, but a phenomenal video game to boot. The ultra-responsive gameplay, matched with the overarching story, provided for a Batman experience that is totally in line with the lore created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. Rocksteady succeeds in granting the wish of their tagline, "Be the Bat."
Started with the actual game itself. This is the limited edition version of the game. It comes with the Batman statue. Get started here. Get this off. Okay, right off the bat, it says, "From a grateful city in memory of Gotham."